Hi, I'm Timothy,
I'm Alex.
I'm Ashley.
and for our project, we wanted to see how Taiwan has progressed in the digital age alongside the internet, and to have a more in-depth view on how much the internet can affect one country. First, we are going to introduce our areas of research,
I will be addressing the introduction of internet in Taiwan and e-learning.
I'll be covering social media and online culture.
and I will be discussing e-commerce and innovational challenges.
Firstly, Taiwan started its internet journey in the 1980s and was mainly in private enterprises. And developing all applications relating to the internet and computers went to professionals. TAINET, Taiwan Academic Internet, was by the Ministry of Education, and it is the top service provider in Taiwan. Other providers such as CNET, a 5 service center that is situated separately in the cities of Taipei, Taoyuan, Hsinchu, Taichung, and Kaohsiung. The other service provider, HiNet, provides internet access to all commercial enterprises and private users in Taiwan. According to Hung Jin-yang, a Iowa State University student, informs the importance of the computer during this point in time, and quotes, "Computers are much more than fast mechanical calculators and information processing systems that rival existing educational developing systems, which means it is much more than a numbers machine. It holds important information that is accessible via the internet and should be accessible to students and citizens, but this is no longer an issue anymore." Next, around 1990, there was 11 national universities that ran regional network centers. In 1994, the Ministry of Education changed its policies, broadening the internet access to all level schools, which include K through 12. This step helped modernize the principles of information in education. In 2001, the Ministry of Education started promoting programs and tutors to bridge the digital gap between city schools and rural schools. Moreover, to improve the accessibility of digital information in remote schools and communities. According to Chia-Ming, the China factor from 2016 to 2018, there was a decrease in higher education due to Taiwan not conceding with one China policy. Therefore, was blocked from all communication, and the, in quote, "follow of knowledge between China and Taiwan had been stifled, contributing to the enrollment decline." This block put a damper in Taiwan's plans to further higher education. Moving forward, a most recently update in 2019, the top e-learning categories taught online, language, educational materials, and cooking. Education in Taiwan had a brief setback, but that didn't stop them from pushing for knowledge.
Okay, so I just wanted to talk a little bit about how the people of Taiwan connect with each other and stay connected with the rest of the world. So, despite their physical isolated location, Taiwan today is an early technological adopter. As a people, they are able to follow the trends of which tech is best in the rest of the world. In terms of social media, apps that are used in Taiwan are similar to that which we are familiar in a place like the US. So, this includes the globally popular YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. The exception that we might not be so familiar with is the social media app Line. So Line has become popular amongst phone owners in Taiwan due to the ability to do all typical social media options, express themselves with stickers, and utilize practical elements such as transportation. Line provides Taiwanese users the ability to chat internationally for free with certain countries and really low rates with others. It provides the options people want in the easiest and most appealing way.
So now we're going to talk about Taiwan's technological innovations and challenges. Taiwan in the 1980s and 1990s became so successful because they had such a fast turnaround on low-cost manufactured electronic products because of the government's competition policy. In fact, Taiwan's dependence on hardware has only become more difficult over the last decade. This industry has grown steadily as a proportion of Taiwan's total exports in 2012 were 39.5% compared to 46% in 2017. Taiwan's hardware dominant industries faced additional pressure due to next generation competitors like the US, which were shifting their focus away from hardware and towards software. Taiwan has tried to upgrade to a software and internet focused industry, but so far has had limited success. Where now the focus is the need to foster a next generation talent pool with expertise in computer and data sciences, machine learning, and other fields in software, because many of the new systems in these industries do require advanced hardware, but they also do require many adaptations in software. Without major adaptations in software, Taiwan continued to diminish in connections to Silicon Valley in the 2000s for two reasons. First, with more opportunities at home, fewer students from Taiwan came to the United States to study. Second, Silicon Valley firms like Apple partnered with China over lower costs for manufacturing needs, meaning fewer connections to the US. The good news is that Taiwan's venture capital industry remains especially strong, but the central challenge is still attracting US and international investors. So now on to the growth of e-commerce in Taiwan. Electronic commerce was first embraced when it became obvious that the internet world would be the new generational technology. In 1999, the government decided to promote the personal computer industry over manufacturing by launching a program called Industrial Automation and Electronic Business Program, where three multinational firms, IBM, Compaq, and Hewlett-Packard, were selected to be leading firms to establish the internet-based networks. But still, after this innovation, it still took time for Taiwan users to not feel worried when purchasing in the 2000s. But the comfortability online could not be more clear in 2014, where 34% of Taiwanese smartphone users use the devices to make purchases by using their phones to become aware, consider, and evaluate, and decide to purchase a new product or service, outranking China with 33%, US with 21%, UK with 17%, and Japan with 15%. The e-commerce market in Taiwan still has grown rapidly over the past years, but in 2018, the market size was $38.92 billion with a 5-year average growth rate of 7%. With an average of $866 spent with each consumer buying from China, Japan, and the United States. Here are some of the websites heavily used to sell and buy in Taiwan: Amazon and eBay, Momo Shop, PC Home, Rakuten, Ichiba Taiwan, and Taobao. In 2019, though, the internet penetration rate in Taiwan grew to 93% out of the 24 million in population. As Taiwan e-commerce market continued to develop, an increasing number of younger shoppers chose to shop on online retailers, creating more opportunities for e-commerce retailers and service providers. Now, finally, let's talk about how business is adapting and progressing into the digital age. One of the major challenges in Taiwan today is the shortage of talent to remain competitive. In March 2017, though, the president Tsai Ing-wen of Taiwan announced a contribution of $1.51 billion over the next 8 years to improve the nation's digital infrastructure. And on October 3rd in 2017, the government launched the 5+2 Innovative Industries Plan. This plan aimed to move 7 industries and areas beyond their roots in manufacturing to a high value added business and services, to try and progress in smart technology, clean energy, biomedicine, defense and industries and aerospace, new agricultural technology, circular economy, and the Asian Silicon Valley project. The good news is that many of these areas are related to next generation industries like AI, but still many aspects of the government plans remain aspirational. But in projects like Asian Silicon Valley, where they were funded $350 million in 2016 to select Taiwanese startup teams to spend a few months in Silicon Valley in the United States, where help from the mentors and accelerators help these teams have the potential to gain firsthand knowledge of the American market, where they could come into direct contact with consumers and buyers beyond Taiwan itself, where some Taiwanese startups have found US-based business partners and investments for their companies, creating hope for the new generation. In response to the accelerating demand of digital services in the post-pandemic era, Taiwan needed to evaluate the plan and next steps for continuing the DATE summit virtually in 2020. A total of 6 countries were invited to deliver keynote speeches in relays with the main theme of developing digital readiness and 5G integration. This pandemic has not only accelerated the pace of corporation transformation, but also has changed people's lives, models in each industry, and business territory. This pandemic has contributed to contactless business opportunities, including electronic payment and cloud economy, where even Taiwan has faced strategic and economic obstacles for decades, yet smart policies and cultural innovation has helped make it more secure. But to remain secure for the long term, Taiwan needs to make its economy more tough and to integrate the broader international environment. Ultimately, it needs to adapt its economy by having a rapid industrial and technological change.
In conclusion, internet usage allows opportunities to create practical learning atmospheres which acknowledge students in many different locations to convey shared educational activities.
And making social media important in culture and communication provides a strong route for people to adapt to the digital age,
where innovation in hardware and software have become essential to staying competitive in today's market.
While island nations have historically been more isolated, new opportunities have allowed Taiwan to capitalize on the digital age by creating and utilizing new technological developments.